Welcome to the bold analysis, good people. And I want to say thank you for supporting this channel. For those who, of course, who've been supporting in one way or the other, asanteni sana. Yeah, I received the coffee. Only for those who have my number, don't share the number anymore. And of course, if you allow me, I'll just announce now. One question that I have been receiving in the informal talks by people who maybe we interact with is, where are we? One of the things that where we are having a government, a new government that has been formed, premised on two tribes, Kikuyu and Kalenjin. Absolutely no problem with that, because again, that's where the votes came from, or that's where the leaders, those are the two tribes where the topmost leaders of this country are coming from. That's the nature of our politics, and I am not an angel to change that today or not tomorrow. I want to say that the truth of the matter here is, because of that situation, William Ruto have found himself asleep, or at really trying his best to please Mount Kenya, because of one reason: 2027. After 2027, we're going to have a different story. But just before that, I want to make a very strong point that Mount Kenya will not stick with William Ruto to the end. Because of, and I want to just paint for you a picture. Why am I saying that this might not be the situation? I have seen a clip from Kiambu where Gathoni Mushomba leading a host of Kiambu leaders that were pushing on President William Ruto to appoint, I think, Kigo Njenga, who was one of the UDA aspirants in Kiambu, who vied through UDA and lost. By the way, he lost to an independent candidate, if I'm not wrong. Yes, he lost to an independent, the only independent MP from Kiambu County. And so it just boosted on my point that we are pushing it further. And the notion that this government is Kikuyu Kalenjin and what has synced is totally different. It's not very healthy, even for us. To give you an understanding why I am saying that Mount Kenya will dump William Ruto somewhere, in the middle of somewhere, I want us to just have a reflection back, so that we know how we arrived here. What William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua did, and what Kenya Kwanza government, the fashion, the image they're giving, is that we are coming from hell to heaven. Those words really fits the situation, because, and let me show you how that is being done. 45 days in office, there is a lot of obsession and publicity stunt by things that are emotional to the people. Like, look at the extrajudicial killing crusade that is going on, where president have made it his personal responsibility that we want to end extrajudicial killings, and coming to public to say that, look here, kwa previous gym kuna watu walikuwa wamewekwa huko, walikuwa na watu, and you know that conversation was all there. That was done technically, and that has been done to, even media have trapped it, and you can listen to morning breakfast shows, people having panelists discussing about how people were killed in Hurutim. Freedom is coming, So that has really captured captured the Kenyan public, and it has been successfully been used to show that what we had in Uhuru Kenyatta regime was the worst regime that we had, killing people and doing this and doing that. So William Ruto is bringing bit of what can be curbed, what can be seen as a freedom. So that is coupled by Miguna Miguna. The comeback of Miguna Miguna was to give the government the image, Miguna amekuja, aliteswa, detention, forceful deportation, all that. And he's back. If you check his Twitter, utaona akipigana na Raila. I was giving you that short of it to tell you the kind of image that William Ruto is portraying to the Kenyan people. It might work, it might not work. But then, that has successfully been bought by the Kenyan public because we wanted something new. We are tired with Uhuru. We meant that we were tired with Uhuru's regime. Kutengeneza barabara hatukuli. What Mudavadi once said. He spent our money. Ameenda na pesa yote. So, telling people ameenda na pesa yote, we've left and dilapidated the economy. So we are telling Kenyans that we are starting afresh. That's it. The Kenya Kwanza is actually telling Kenyans that we are starting afresh. The risk is we sold people hope. So tunaanza fresh, lakini tutafanya kila kitu. Then the target was the Mount Kenya. So and that is why I'm saying that the kind of hope that was put in the faces of people at the campaign trail, successfully, we have also made Kenyans to believe that we are coming from worst regime to this. The hopes are high. And that is why I want to give you the reality checks, the reality parameters that will actually show you that Ruto will not go with GEMA to the end. Does not need magical science. There will be non-compliance with the pledge. Non-compliance with the pledge is what other people say unmet promises. It's not unmet, it's non-compliance. The language that was put there, and the reason someone would ask, mbona isifanyike, we're in a country, not everything can be solved overnight. Kenya Kwanza came into government with a perception that we have solution for every problem. Even if Ruto was to be a president for 50 years, he will not solve all the problems. That's the truth. So, that non-compliance with the pledge is going to create a rift between Ruto, Gachagua, with the people. Remember, on August 9th, there were two issues on the ballot. Number one, we want freedom. Number two, we are leaving Uhuru. We don't want Uhuru. Those were two. So as we talk now, one is not. The Uhuru conversation is never in question. It's now about you with the people. If someone voted because he wanted to send Uhuru home, Uhuru is not there. So it's now to make a judgment between you and William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. And because of that non-compliance, that relationship will not be that strong. Because politics is about interests. And the other reason why non-compliance, that can actually bring non-compliance, is politics is about interests. And for you to serve these interests, you have to align yourself with the big interest. And when you align yourself with the big interests, you cannot comply with what the people expect. A good example, at the campaign trail, William Ruto expected to give Kenyans Hustler Fund at a very low interest rate, but then he never said zero interest. I think we misquoted him. a very low interest rate, 0 point or even 1. But because of the big interest, the big commercial interest, the reality here is the banks that are going to give this loan cannot give it at such a low interest. So just because of that, non-compliance with the zero interest hustler fund. Very open. It's an interesting one that you can see. Now, there is something called PPI, Permanent Poverty Indicators. Permanent poverty indicators. Poverty doesn't end overnight. There are things that when people see permanently, it's their end. That, okay, we are still poor. You know, I listened to Mashujaa Day's speech where William Ruto saying, I know, I want how the people are going to feel my pledge. They want to feel your pledge, yes, but there is permanent poverty indicators. You know, the people who are the hustlers, I was in some point, the hustlers who, wow, they are poor. Hata ukuje leo useme umetengeneza ile barabara kutoka hapa hadi hapa, it's not. They are poor. They are seeing, you know, mazao yao ya shamba haitoi kitu, they are not getting good input, they cannot afford. By the way, inflation is permanent poverty indicator in the rural sector. Ukiongeza tu bei ya chumvi ya shilingi moja ama sukari, those people rise. Brokenness is permanent poverty indicator, and you can't solve it overnight. Because of that, people might not feel what you are doing for them. We have a representative democracy where represented by the people. So the voices of Mount Kenya are represented by Rigathi Gachagua, by Ndindi Nyoro, by Moses Kuria, and those other leaders. And this indicates what I was saying, that not even, if not at the end of the first term, even at the end of the second term, even if Gachagua will get a second term and become DP for the second term, do you think people not get tired of the face of Rigathi Gachagua as the kingpin? They got tired of Uhuru Kenyatta, and Uhuru Kenyatta was a president. That's it. So to this end, I am simply saying that it's time that William Ruto should just reduce on that obsession of Kenya obsession. Just do good for everyone. Mainstream. There's no need of taking everything, saying now Mount Kenya. At the end of the day, after Ruto presidency, there will be another presidency. We continue putting the country in dividing lines that it's our time to eat. I don't know what you think, but those are my grounds why I see that in the fullness of time, Mount Kenya will just dump William Ruto. I don't know when, but this is coming. Mark this analysis.